Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. I have been playing this game, Granblue Fantasy, a lot over spring break, which is why there hasn't been videos in a little bit. I've just been kind of chillaxing over spring break. But we're back to videos, and the Guild Wars videos will resume probably on Wednesday. But this is a video I was thinking about making most of spring break, so we are going to make it. And this is about Granblue Fantasy. This game came out about a month and a half ago at this point. It is a game I've been really enjoying. It's a JRPG that kind of has a almost Monster Hunter-esque endgame, where you fight bosses for loot, and you use their parts to make weapon upgrades, and there's a couple different upgrade paths. But this isn't necessarily just going to be a review, this is also going to be a bit of a discussion video. The review is probably going to be the first couple minutes, and then we're going to end off with kind of a my future hopes for this game and my future hopes for games like this, because I do really enjoy this game, and I do hope that it does well enough to not only get continued support, but other games come out in this similar style. But yeah, let's just talk really briefly about my experience with the game. So I've beaten the entire game, and I am kind of in the end game right now. I have not done the most farming in the world. I'm still working on trying to get all of my sigils. I'm still missing some of the important ones for endgame builds. Sigils down here being like the main endgame farming system that you like interface with to increase your character's power. I'm not super far in that. I'm also still working on characters. I have a lot of characters left to go that I want to bring up to at least like playable. The game has a couple different systems that you upgrade. You have those, and you also have these talents here, which are just a big pile of stats and skills and various effects like that. Different nodes you go through. So there's 3 of those, including one that you get for getting and upgrading every weapon. And these actually affect you all the time, even if you're not wielding the specific weapon that the trait comes from. So this is actually a really cool reason to build every weapon for a character you care about, instead of just building the best weapons, which are these weapons down here at the bottom called Terminus weapons. And then there's this, which is a mastery point sink, and there's like 1 or 2 other systems. But this isn't so much a complete review as much as I want to make this a discussion video. And what I want to talk about is what this game kind of reminded me of is like, this game feels a lot like what Gacha games like Genshen Impact should have been if they were actual normal games and not like cash grabs. What I mean by that is that this is like a character-based leveling game that has multiple systems of progression, including the weapon upgrades, these masteries, that kind of stuff. And like the process of doing this stuff, none of it really is daily locked. There are a couple things like these chests that I'm running around and grabbing, these respawn daily, but realistically this stuff is just kind of pennies. It's more just something to do while you're running around the hub towns, in between quests or while you're doing stuff like that. But a lot of the actual progression systems in this game, stuff like weapons and the materials to level weapons and the items you need to craft weapons and upgrade weapons and stuff like that, all this stuff is purely quest rewards, like Monster Hunter. So it just means that if you want something, you can farm as much as you want for it. You know, you can see down at the bottom the different quest rewards for the kind of stuff. Down here, these are like different materials you use for stuff, and you can farm them to your heart's content. And there still are some RNG aspects. There's the sigils I was talking about. There's these curios. These are used to pop random items out of a vendor, and you get those as a reward from finishing a quest. So the more quests you do, the more curios you get, the more chance you have at rare sigils and stuff like that to boost your character's power. But it's kind of like relics or something in a gacha game, or gear in a gacha game that you could grind infinitely from a domain or a area, kind of very similar to that. You have these weapons, like the one I have right now. These are terminus weapons. Let's see here. Go to. This is also a really cool feature. I absolutely love this menu. It's super easy to interact with, and the ability to just fast travel back and forth between all the key points in this town is super cool. It's a super cool feature. But these weapons that I have, the terminus weapons, they have a special system to be able to ascend them, which is essentially just more upgrades. These are ascension weapons. These also have that system, but really only worth doing on the terminus weapons. And these give them bonuses. There's also stones you can slot into the weapon to give them extra stuff. The terminus weapons are pretty cool because they drop from this guy here, this final boss, the hardest quest in the game right now, Proto Bahamut. So I'm imagining a system where like this, you have a weekly boss, or not a weekly boss, excuse me, a boss. The hard bosses in the game have a chance to drop your 5-star weapons. And then a lot of the other bosses and quests throughout the game drop materials to upgrade those weapons, whether it's purely to level them up or to like refine them and make extra versions of them, similar to how you can put buffs on your terminus weapons just from doing random quests and stuff like that. And I don't know, it's just something interesting that I thought about while I was playing this game. It's like, man, this game almost feels like a gacha game that you don't have to pay for and isn't daily locked. There still are some pretty bad things, like the RNG for these sigils is real. Like it's pretty rough to try to get the good ones, let alone, it's pretty rough to try to even get usable ones, let alone really good ones. Some of them in particular, like the ones that come from curios, are pretty hard to get. Like I'm currently looking for these supplementary damage ones, and there's also one called War Elemental. Those are like very important sigils that are very hard to get. You basically have to get lucky from the curio vendor, and they're very low drop rates. So those could be a little better. How you get characters, actually, this is another important thing to think about when I was talking about the comparison to like a gacha game. So you just get these crewmate cards from doing quests, or you get them as rewards from a vendor, and you literally just go and pick the character you want and select them. That's it. That's all it is. So that's a pretty nice system for getting characters. It also does mean if they do want to like maybe add a little bit more time, they can make it so, you know, hey, weekly logins or monthly, weekly logins, you get a couple more tokens or something like that. But I'd prefer not to do it that way. But this is just like, while the game is a lot of fun and I really enjoy it, it made me think that, man, this is like a weird combination between a gacha game and a Monster Hunter, except it's not predatory like a gacha game is, really, for your money. We are getting some more free updates for this game. Right now there is confirmed to be 1 more boss and 3 more playable characters. I hope there's more after that. I hope they continue to support this game because I've been absolutely loving it, like I said in the beginning. And I hope that they continue to keep adding new characters, because I think it'd be fun to come back and play new characters and keep adding harder, not even necessarily harder, but just different bosses that have different mechanics, so we're not just kind of slamming our heads into the same like 5 or 6 bosses. But yeah, it's a really fun game if you haven't tried it, and I definitely would recommend it to anybody that hasn't tried it. But that is going to be all for this video. I want to thank you for coming out. This is just kind of my thoughts on the game. I definitely think it's worth playing if you like Monster Hunter, if you like action RPGs, if you like character building games. I definitely think it's worth a try. Look at that. You see that gate in the back? That thing is going crazy. We're gonna look away from it. Man, that background's kind of buggy too. I don't know what's going on. We're gonna look at this wall that's less buggy. But I appreciate you watching this little bit of a weird video. The Guild Wars videos will resume on Wednesday, but I want to thank you for coming out. I hope you have a great day, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.